Greetings to everybody. Welcome. We welcome all our Heartfulness members, our new seekers, everybody that is participating and watching our programs on our Heartfulness community channel. In this community channel, through this program known as Discover New You, we are understanding the teachings of Revered Daji, the leader of the Heartfulness Institute. And our goal is to implement these teachings and understand these teachings because understanding is the first step before we can implement anything. And that is our goal here through this platform. And we have been exploring the 10 maxims given by Revered Babuji to arrive at this absolute state of balance. We need to adopt certain principles. And Revered Daji compares these maxims to yamas and niyamas of Patanjali Yoga Sutras. And Babuji simplified it in such a way that we understand a true concept. And it's all about living life. It's all about living life in a spirit of celebration with right understanding so we can perform our duties correctly. So, on this auspicious day of Vijayadashami, from the Heartfulness Community Channel, we wish all our members happy Dashara, happy Navaratri, and let us continue to learn, which is what the wish of the great elders is. As we learn, as we understand, we practice, and as we practice, we become. And today's topic is about eating happily in divine remembrance. Sometimes certain things that we normally do, they become such a routine that we don't pay attention to the value of certain things. And the great masters here are even teaching us how a simple act of eating can bring transformation in each one of us, and how to do that, how to make every action, bring it to its perfection, and make every action divinized. Whether we are meditating, whether we are eating, whether we are sleeping, whether we are serving, whether we are doing our duty, how can we bring perfection in each one of these acts so they can be divinized? And that is what spirituality is about, perfection in action. So today, let us explore this eighth maxim. Let me share my screen. The eighth maxim is about be happy to eat in divine thought. Babaji Maharaj says, be happy to eat in constant divine thought. So we have to pay attention to this word constant. Whatever you get, with due regard to honest and pious earnings. So we're going to explore every word in this maxim because every word carries a beautiful prescription for human beings. So be happy to eat in constant divine thought, whatever you get, with due regard to honest and pious earnings. And Revered Daji worded it as honor the resources you are given as sacred with an attitude of purity, including food and money. What is the state of happiness? Because when they are saying be happy, what do they mean? Babaji Maharaj states a happy disposition is a state which percolates its effect upon the lower layers and purifies them. So happiness arises from the soul, and that vibration has to affect all the layers of our being, whether it's our subtle body or physical body, and that needs to radiate through us. So that is why he's saying it is a disposition, it is a state which percolates its effect upon the lower layers and purifies them. What are the lower layers? To the soul, the subtle body is a lower layer, the physical body is even lower layer. This is a state which may aptly be taken as that next to divine. So happiness is divine. A lot of times, we think that longing and crying and all this is about spirituality. Spirituality is about radiating the nature of our origin, which is nothing but peace and happiness and joy and bliss. So the pure vibrations emanating from near the center of our being, which then percolates outwards through the layers of our system, also purifying the physical levels of our existence. And fixing our thought on this happy disposition means taking into account which is our final goal. So, what is the final goal? That ultimate divinity. So, the effect filters down to the substance which is there. When we eat it, the effect taken in by it enters our body and spreads through our veins and arteries. Particles, atoms of the body get purified, helping promote physical and spiritual healing. So, if we are able to eat happily, instead of eating in a state of anger or sadness or depression, the effect of this happiness gives proper healing for our body, mind, and spirit. So, what is the concept here? The soul is the absolute, our subtle body is the energy field, the physical body is the matter, physical matter. So, the absolute is the causal body, the soul, energy is the subtle body, the consciousness, and matter is our physical being. This principle is intriguing, involving the flow of prana, the life force, through all three states of existence, which is absolute, energy, and matter. So anything you intake is always flowing through these three states of being. From the physical, we think it's just affecting your body, what you eat, it is affecting your energy field, and thereby it is affecting the soul itself. And soul in return, however it is affected, it gives it back to its energy body, the sukshma sarir, and then that affects our physical body. In us, these three states are associated with our causal body, subtle body, and physical body. The current flows out from the absolute, and it also flows back from matter to energy and ends in the absolute. So what is happiness? It is a state of being of contentment, peace and joy, steadiness of disposition under all circumstances, this balance under all circumstances, gratitude and purity. So, happiness, joy, and bliss are the qualities of the soul and emanate from a state which may be aptly be taken as that next to divine. So, Babaji says happiness is very close to divinity. That is why Anandamaya Kosha, the bliss sheath, is connected to the soul. So, what is a divine thought? Because when the master makes a statement, eat in divine thought, ordinary people like us wonder, what is divine thought? What is the depth behind this word? It is a state of prayerfulness. How does thought become divine? When your mind is absorbed in the source, the thought that the mind produces would become divine. So what is the power of prayer? We all understood prayer is a state of humbleness, humility, and power of prayer is in humility. Arriving at the state of insignificance with humbleness, with the attitude that he is everything and you are nothing. And this state of being creates a vacuum and attracts the grace. And then it charges the food that we are eating, it charges our entire being. So, what promotes health? Prayerful impulse of the thought, the vibration created by our state of being of prayer, that vibration touches the food that we are eating and thereby it becomes divinized charged, and it promotes our physical, mental, and spiritual health. So, what is food? Food is valued as prana, life force, the effect of which percolates through the three bodies of the being: the physical, the subtle, and the causal. Food can be divinized into a higher vibration so it can cure physical and spiritual ailments. See, a lot of times people wonder, after we get sick, we think that we have to exercise, we have to eat right. But if we are taking care of things ahead of time, the body will be fit. It won't become that sick. If you go to a physician, he will prescribe you to start walking and all this. But if we are walking already, the need to go there is not there anymore. So our prayerful thought combines with food to promote physical, mental, and spiritual health. And food contributes to our happiness and well-being. Because if you notice, a lot of our happy get-togethers with the families at our dining table, or festivals, when we celebrate like today, when we are making dressing up well, we are making good food, we are with our family, this togetherness which produces happiness. And the act of gratitude while we are eating connects us with the divine at the beginning, and it continues our subtle connection while eating, and we activate the current from source into every atom of the food. So our attitude of gratitude, prayerfulness, happiness, all this attracts the grace, and so the flow from the center starts to flow into us. So food is known as divine. In Sanskrit it is called annam parabrahma swarupam, that is, when the divinity at the center of every atom in our food, it resonates with the divinity within us. So it's almost like a union. The union of purity, the divinity in the food, unites with each cell of our being, and then it becomes a potent source of goodness. And we never look at it like that. Sometimes we are just gobbling, sometimes we are eating. Nowadays, we are driving and we are taking our lunch. There is no aspect of reverence and celebration. So that is what we need to bring into our lives. Yogis treat all resources with respect and gratitude according to the yamas and niyamas, because this is our energetic relationship with the environment which we live. Thus, a yogi will be happy to eat whatever food is available. In fact, a yogi of caliber will not disturb even one atom of this universe unless it is necessary to do so. There is so much respect for life. And that is where this concept of Jainism, where they don't wear shoes because they don't want to kill the ants. So it is the lightest human footprint and an incredibly sacred attitude to living every moment of every day in tune with nature. So we have to improve the way of our life to such sacredness, bit by bit. So, what is the power of prana? Revered Babuji reveals a secret. When we apply our thought to prana, it generates a force that can lead us to our goal. Here, the prana is the energy from the food. He says, when you apply your thought to the energy in the food, to the divinity in the food, it generates another vibration which can lead us to the goal. When the prana in the food comes in contact with our thought, which is imbued with happiness, our thought needs to be imbued with happiness and gratitude, it becomes supercharged. It purifies all the layers of our system. Babuji says, that which springs up by our contact with reality leads us towards the supreme. So, the divinity within us, which springs up, when it is in contact with the divinity that is springing up in the food, that reality, that state of being, that union will lead us towards that supreme. This paves our way to the infinite. Thus, so much distance is covered. How can you accelerate the process of expanding consciousness with the help of prana in the food. See, our spiritual journey, the sadhana, it is all about expanding our consciousness. Because revered Daji says our consciousness is stuck between a thin layer of, we have a thin layer between the subconscious and the superconscious. And our conscious needs to expand to pervade into both. So how can food help us? Babaji observed expansion of our consciousness can be accelerated with the help of prana in food by being in contact with reality, which is what we just talked about. The reality in us merges with the reality of the food, generating a vibration which will expand our consciousness. When we apply our thought to prana, it generates a force that can lead us towards our goal. When the prana in the food comes in contact with our thought, imbued with happiness, gratitude, it becomes supercharged. And that which springs our contact with the Supreme paves our way to infinite. Thus, so much distance is covered so very easily. So, when we fix our thought on the ultimate while eating, we take its effects. It is the interplay of matter, energy, and absolute through the three bodies. So, here we have to remember so, whatever we are fixed, our thought is fixed while we are eating, we take the effect of it. If you are yelling at your children and angry, you take the effect of it. If you are sad, crying for something, you take the effect for it. That is why before eating, we shake ourselves up, bring ourselves back to centeredness, and partake the food. What is due regard to honest and pious earnings means? Here it is correct thinking, right understanding, honest approach to life, according to Revered Daji. The acts performed to earn the wages, they have the vibrations of negative or positive, depending on how we earn them. Say you kill somebody and earn the money. What vibrations will that have? And what vibrations will that money, the things that purchased with that money, will have? And what will be the effect on our families and the future generations? So, that is a very important thing. Food purchased with such earning does have the negative or positive effects. Things in nature are pure because the basis is purity. Things earned can be pure when they come from pure and pious means. It maintains the pristine nature of our human web. That is why sages have put importance upon honest and pious earnings. Everything is need of the hour. In ancient times, they didn't have to say this statement, you have to earn in honest way. But nowadays, the world is such a way that we have to be reminded by the great sages that what we are earning should be become honest and pious. When we are connected with divinity, drowned in divinity, we can absorb the purity that is prevailing in our hearts, the piety that is prevailing in our hearts. Piousness means to serve from the highest. So, even whatever we are doing, whether we are doing our work, whether we are serving the mission, whether we are serving our children, whether we are serving our husband, everything has to come from the highest level. Piousness means to serve from the highest, and that means to go down to our deepest level, to the core of our heart. The deepest level is overflowing with love when we are interacting with everyone. Wages earned thus become pious. If you are not giving your best in your job, you are being dishonest. This is the famous statement by Revered Daji: purity weaves destiny. The core theme that permeates is purity. It is all about purity, us coming to that state of purity, because divinity is all about purity. We originated from purity. The center of our being is purity, and it is purity that weaves our destiny to the final state. But our thoughts, feelings, and actions, they add impurities and complexities to our system, and they come in various levels of heaviness. So, when we engage in dishonest activities to earn, we are doing a disservice not only to us but to the entire family, because our vibratory level affects them. How we are affect our children, our families. If you earn a pure living, your conscience is clear and everyone in the family benefits. Some of the examples for this, if you notice, very rich people that have earned this riches with dishonest means, and some of their children commit suicide. Why is that? Having at their hands all the riches of the world, why are those children committing suicide? Because the means that it was earned was not honest. How does power of prana from food and life force affect the body? Prana is from the food as well as from the transmission that we receive. So when the divinity at the center of every atom in our food resonates with the divinity within us, that food becomes a potent source of goodness, which is prana, the life force, to a certain extent. But the transmission that we receive from the Guru is million folds. But even this one atom of the prana that we receive from the food is important for our progress. The prana, whether it is through transmission or food, flows through all three states of existence, which is matter, energy, and absolute, affecting the three physical, subtle, and causal bodies. So, partaking food in constant remembrance of the ultimate divinity will bring happiness and peace. So, happiness is the culmination. Happiness is next to divine. It is a state next to divine. The center of our being and the effects percolate to outer layers and purify them. If we look upon ourselves as fields of energy with a series of layers of varying vibratory levels, the state of happiness exists in close proximity to the divine, which is the Anandamaya Kosha, connected to the soul. And happiness is our soul's nature. Happiness, in its subtlest form, is our soul's nature. The reason we are unable to be happy is due to the perception of separateness, the separation of our I-ness and our identification with external things than the soul. We are identifying ourselves with the body, we are identifying ourselves with the mind. If we identify ourselves with the soul, we start to experience the nature of the soul. Happiness supercharges the prana. We are bringing the highest form of happiness through the power of the thought and sanctify the food we take in. This process has the power to purify every particle of the body, leading to the spiritual and physical health. It supercharges prana and leads us to the final state. And that is how the Indian tradition came before they ate. They always used to sit in the proper asana where the spine is erect, legs are folded, like how we meditate. And they would take water and sprinkle on the food. So that act reminded them to purify their thought, purify their state of being, so they can partake the food. It was a reminder, but then it became a physical habit. Forgetting you're being angry and you're just sprinkling water, it doesn't have the effect. So, what is the principle 8? There are external forces to help us to the destination if properly guided. And the Eastern thinkers have taken special regard of the question of food. Food should be cooked in remembrance, and it should be cooked neatly and cleanly in a proper manner. And that is the hygienic point. But if it is Satwik, that is subtle, and is cooked in constant remembrance of divine, its effects will be surprising. What does it mean by when Daji says Satwik? The other day, somebody asked, what about meat eating? And he gave a very strong example. He says, if aliens came and took your wombs and ate them, how do you feel? So, the purpose is to let evolution happen naturally to retain life. And at the same time, if you are in Iceland and there is no vegetation at all, you eat fish. The purpose is to preserve the highest form of evolution. So, when vegetables are available, if we can partake that, we are supporting nature's evolution. And food needs to be eaten in remembrance. And if it is taken meditating all the while on God, it will cure all kinds of spiritual diseases and removes things which hinder our progress. So, principle 8 in action is about It awakens us to the fact that even mundane activities like taking food and making money can either contribute to the purity of our system and expand our consciousness when done correctly, or they can pull us down. So, in spiritual progress, we are practicing and practicing certain aspects. And if we forget this one aspect, it is like a big puzzle. Even if one piece is missing, the puzzle is not complete. And that is why Babaji Maharaj took time to put all these 10 principles in order for us so we can see the significance of each principle and to the best of our capacity apply these principles to our lives and practice them to the best of our capacity. And certain things we are unable to when we are struggling, we know it is from a deeper impression of long term patterns that we have created over lifetimes. For that, we utilize the heartfulness techniques of cleansing, intentions, prayer, meditation to shift our way of being. That is why in the beginning, nobody tells us, oh, you have to be a pure vegetarian before you meditate. If it has been a habit for lifetimes, it is not possible. But if we don't change our habits, even after coming into spiritual journey, knowing what is right, what is wrong, it is like a child when she makes a mistake because he doesn't know, it is forgivable. But if your child knows it and makes a mistake, you get irritated because you know the consequences about those mistakes. So also the great elders of the heartfulness way are trying to educate us so we can imbibe these qualities within ourselves to our best capacity, utilizing all the techniques that are available. So pray before and after the meal also, says Daji. Principle 8 is all about lifestyle. Even the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, it is all about a lifestyle. They are codes of life. So how we earn, how that money is utilized to buying food, how the food is cooked, how it is consumed, and what we do after eating the food. Many pray before the eating, but what about our thoughts during the meal and after the meal? So all that also affects. So this remembrance is a very powerful tool given to the spiritual seekers. Just by making that intention, I'm absorbed in the source. Everything around me is also absorbed in the same source. And every action that I'm performing is happening according to the divine will, and I'm just flowing through this day. So after finishing the meal, close your eyes for a half a minute and connect with your center. Truly be grateful from the bottom of your heart for the meal and for those who served you. It is a powerful moment once you finished eating in divine remembrance, grateful for everything that has happened. So, the essence of state of being of this Maxim 8 is bring ourselves to a prayerful state, touch the happy condition of our inner soul. So, deeply they're saying meditate, arrive at that state of stability, balance, peace, contentment, prayerfulness, and happiness and bliss, and then partake the food. And it needs to come from pious earnings and honest earnings. It needs to be cooked with love in your heart. Because a lot of times, if you notice, why our family becomes sick is, you are so mad at them, you're cursing while you're cooking the food. I did that when I was young. And you notice the effect of our family. They are also irritated by that. There is anger, there is disharmony in the family. So, if a woman learns to cook in divine remembrance, it becomes heartful cooking. And when we are able to eat that in divine thought, we connect to the ultimate state of happiness and we connect to the ultimate vibration that awakens the prana, the life force itself. And if we are able to partake it with a feeling of gratitude, we support our spiritual journey. So, that is the brief presentation about how to eat with divine thought, in remembrance, with gratitude. The whole idea is to connect our heart before every action to the superconscious condition of the living guide through whom we are connected to the ultimate source. And if we are able to practice this habit of connecting ourselves before every act becomes worship, because it is all about, ultimately, it is about being in the state of worship. So let us all now meditate. Close your eyes softly. Take a deep breath and let go. Feel grounded to the earth. Feel the healing energy from Mother Earth enter into your being. And begin with relaxing your toes. Feel the energy flow into your feet, into your ankles and your legs. Be aware of your legs. Relax your legs. Take another deep breath and let go. Feel the energy flow into your knees, into your thighs, into your hips. Feel firmly grounded in the seat. Feel the free flow of energy flowing there, relaxing you. Take another deep breath and let go gently. Feel the energy flow into your lower back and into your upper back. Relax your entire back, keeping your spine erect. Bring your awareness to your stomach muscles. Feel the energy flow there. Take a deep breath and let go gently. Feel the energy flow into your chest. Relax your chest. Bring your awareness to your fingers. Feeling the energy relax your fingers, palm, wrists, lower arms, elbows, and upper arms. Feel the free flow of energy flowing in your hands, relaxing your hands. Take another deep breath and let go. Your hands are completely relaxed. Bring your awareness to your shoulders. Feel the stress melting away. Relax your shoulders. Consciously relax your neck, jaws, tongue. Relax your facial muscles. Deeply relax your eyes, eyebrows, temples, and forehead. Feel your brain is resting. Your mind is calm. Your body is completely relaxed. Bring your awareness to your heart. Feel your heart. Enter your sacred space. Bring yourself to a state of humbleness in prayer. Let this state of being fill every cell of your being. Where the heart beats, remind yourself with the intention: The source of light is present within you. The light from the source is illuminating your entire being. Your mind is drawn to this light. Your mind is resting in the light. The ocean of light, the ocean of love is in you. You are a drop submerged in this ocean. Rest in the light with utmost reverence. Let's meditate. That's all. Feel the calmness spread throughout your being. From this place of calmness, make the intention. All my senses are in a state of balance. They have arrived at their original character. All my feelings are in silence. All the chakras in my system and the koshas in my system are in a state of balance. They are in harmony with each other. Every cell in my being is imbued with the feeling of love and gratitude. Every cell in my being is absorbing the silence. Feel the calmness spread throughout your being. You may open your eyes when you are ready. Thank you all for joining the meditation and the session today. One more thought I would like to add is when we overeat, we affect our Annamaya kosha, the energy sheath, the food sheath. And when we overeat, our food sheath requires more energy. So it draws its energy from the pranamaya kosha, the energy sheath. And when we lose that energy from pranamaya kosha because it has to supplement, we can't think clearly and our decisions are not right. That is why our ancestors used to prescribe after festivals when we overeat. Everybody used to take a nap because that 20 minutes nap supports the pranamaya kosha, the energy sheath, and which in turn gives the fuel for the annamaya kosha to function properly. So everything is interconnected. So it is a good point for all of us to remember what we eat, how we prepare, what is our attitude. It is all in our attitude, the way we perform things. So thank you all for joining us, our Heartfulness community channel. With the teachings of the great masters, we transform every day bit by bit, trying to implement these practices into life. Thank you all for joining. Have a beautiful day.